but that women live a financially fearless life. They understand their money. They know how it works. They know what they need for their best life goals. They know what they want in their life, and they're making moves and they're taking action so that they can live in a life that feels very confident and competent in what they're doing and how they're managing their money.
Does talking about your money make you cringe? Are you tired of fighting about finances? Do you want to stop sabotaging your financial happiness? Then you are in the right place. Welcome to Breaking Money Silence, a podcast series aimed at helping all of us talk more openly about money. Your host, Kathleen Kingsbury, is a wealth psychology expert who is doing what she does best, speaking about taboo topics. International speaker, author, and founder of KBK Wealth Connection, Kathleen understands money and our relationship with it. Over the past decade, she has empowered thousands of people to break money silence at home and at work. Now, here is Kathleen.
This episode is sponsored by Balance Wealth, an advisory firm that views you as more than a number. We know you deserve to partner with a team of professionals who care about you and your goals and empower you to make educated decisions about retirement. Your success is our success. And at Balanced Wealth, we will be with you every step of the way. To learn more, visit balancewealth.com. It is an unfortunate fact that 61% of women would rather talk about their own death than finances with a friend. This money silence hurts women and makes it challenging for many to learn about personal finance, negotiation, and how to plan best for their and their family's financial future. As you know, as the podcast host of Breaking Money Silence, I've been talking about this for years, written about it in my book, Breaking Money Silence. And today, I am excited to welcome two guests to really delve into how they are trying to solve the problem of money silence in women. My guests today are dedicated to changing the landscape for women when it comes to finances. They have co-founded an organization called Purse Strings and want to provide a community where women can freely talk about money, ask questions, and learn the skills they need to be confident and secure. So you can imagine how excited I was to learn about their work. So please welcome Dr. Barbara Provost and Maggie Nielson to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm really excited to delve right in. But before we get into kind of the tips and tools, I really want to hear a little bit about your story. So what I know that the listeners don't know is not only are you co-founders, but you're also mother and daughter. And I really appreciate that. And I had joked with Maggie that while I loved my mother, working with my mother would not have been a possibility. So can you tell me briefly how you decided to start this organization and decided to work together?
Sure. Maggie, do you want to get started?
Yeah, I mean, it all started really when, Barb was blow drying her hair in the bathroom and I was living at home with her, about to start college. And she's like, just take some notes for me while, blow drying her hair, because that's when all the good ideas come. And it was all about empowering women with this financial education, but also working with financial professionals who are really there for you and really going to be on your team. And so we would go to many focus groups, and it was interesting hearing these women say things like, my financial professional wouldn't even look at me. And then when I went to school, I heard all these women money stories. And so Barb was kind of working on Purse Strings. Do you want to pick it up from there?
Yeah, it's true. We get our best brainstorms in the shower or drying our hair. And Maggie was a great little note taker. I dragged her everywhere with me because as a consultant in the financial industry, I could see firsthand that the industry itself was overlooking women. But then I was navigating a divorce and going through that with other women who are also navigating this process. And I could hear them say things like, I don't understand the money in my household. I don't know what cash flow is. I'm not sure if I can afford this divorce. So I always say triangulate that with me running errands with Maggie, Costco, Target, and I'd see women of retirement age bagging my groceries or handing out little food samples. And I'd say to Maggie, why are these women doing this work? Is it because they need the social outlet, or is it because they really need to do this work. And she would just shrug her shoulders at me, not really know why. So, like she said, we got together a lot of different focus groups. I commissioned a researcher. And all long story short is, the insurance and financial industry wins the award as being the least sympathetic to women, and women were woefully underprepared for their financial future. So all this kind of brainstorming, things we've observed together, going through divorce, I could see that there was a huge void here, and that from my background as an adult educator, it's something I knew I needed to tackle.
And what's so interesting and also a little discouraging, to be honest with you, Barbara, is that I've been working in the financial services field for a number of years as well. And there was really a hope when I started in 2008 that this was going to be a dramatically different conversation by 2022, but it isn't. So it isn't. So how do you see purse strings being part of the solution in breaking money silence and really helping women various generations and in various situations?
Yeah. So what we learned through the focus groups, the first thing women would tell us was, what would they tell us, Maggie?
They don't even look at me.
All the time. We'd hear that over and over. I mean, it was jaw dropping. And they would say, they only want me to write a check. They're only interested in my money. And that was so discouraging, because the data will also tell you that women are a hugely valuable market, $24 trillion underserved market. So our focus was really on helping the women make sure that they had a destination location where they could get their questions answered, and they were not going to be pushed a product, and somebody could be there and kind of empathize with them that, they were never really treated with the respect and dignity that they deserve. So that was our initial focus, by providing free online tools and resources to them. But then they'd come back and say, who can I go to? Who can I trust? And I've been in the financial industry long enough to know that there are many, many people I would never do business with. So I felt the same way for the women coming through our community, and I wanted to find for them those professionals who really want to reach and engage and really earn the hard-earned dollar of women. And so that really rounded out the whole model.
Well, and what is heartwarming to me is the fact that along the years, I have met so many financial advisors that actually really do care, that do a good job with women, with couples, with diversity. But it is hard to find them, especially if you're a consumer and you're not as networked as I would say you and I are. So tell me, what type of vetting process happens, Maggie, when we're talking about the professionals that are associated with purse strings?
Yeah, we talk to all of our professionals to really understand kind of why they do the work they do, to see if women are their focus and kind of why that is and what they do to really help that female market. And so many women are different stories of either I worked with a financial professional and they didn't have my best interest in mind and I need to change this for other women, or, a sister went through an experience or something like that. And so you really see these heartfelt stories and these professionals who are really doing this to change the narrative, which is awesome to have these professionals who are really into it and not just making a sale or transaction, but are looking for people to make relationships with.
So a quick follow-up, Maggie, I'm just kind of curious more than anything, is what was your background before joining your mother and now your co-founder in Purse Strings?
Yeah, it really wasn't much. I went to school and graduated with my MBA and kind of then started with Barb because that's when the pandemic hit. I worked some different jobs. I was executive assistant at many places. So I saw how many companies worked. I was at a different networking organization as well. But I learned a lot just through a lot of these conversations, through different women and living with the expert.
Well, and also that's going to get you kudos, right? But also what I noticed is, having your generational perspective, I think is really important. And you just said not a lot, but an MBA is certainly impressive. So I'm sure you add a lot to the dialogue, to the company. And so as you're working in this business together, having had the history that you have, how has that improved or affected your financial communication skills, or have they stayed the same? And I'll throw it to you first, Barb.
That's a great question. And I talked to Maggie a little bit about it because so much of our thinking around money comes from the way we were raised in our culture and how it was discussed in the household and how people felt about money as they were growing up and the messages they were given. And, it challenged me to kind of ask her that question, like, what did you think about money? I mean, I felt like it was just kind of an open dialogue. We talked about it. It wasn't secretive. It wasn't from a place of scarcity, but it was a place of, management. Like we managed the money. It wasn't very emotional, I didn't think, but I'll let Maggie chime in on that.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't here nor there. It was never like, oh, we need to, yeah, it was never a place out of scarcity, but it was never, we never knew that it was just throwing all this cash around. And so it was always a very open dialogue, I feel. And so I think this has really just opened the dialogue even more because A, that's what we talk about all day long. But B, we realized that, somebody needs to crack open the conversation. So we're more than willing to do it and get it started. So I think that's now we just have the conversation about money more and just more details.
Right, right. And I think you're great role models for the women who are using purse strings, the professionals, or anyone who's listening to this podcast. And I know one of the things I love about working with a group of women, whether it's, a small workshop, masterclass, or whether it's, at a large conference, is that I really think that there is this natural tendency to help each other and to learn from each other. And not to say that men don't do that, but I find that at least the places that I've been, they tend to be a little bit more competitive, a little bit more withholding with the information. But with women, there's still that statistic that we avoid talking about money with our friends. Why do you think that's still there for us?
I think it's just how we've been raised. I mean, so often the messages were that you don't talk about money. It's impolite. You don't talk about what things cost, what people make, what they paid for something. Money sometimes led to arguments. Sometimes women feel like if they're making a lot of money, they don't want to sound braggadocious about it. It's a very sensitive topic. And like someone said, sex and money, we just don't want to always open the conversation. But I think those things are changing now.
To jump on that, I definitely think for my generation, those things are changing. We talk about sex, money, and politics and religion all the time because it's everywhere across social media now.
One of the things that I've noticed, because when I published the book, Breaking Money Silence in 2017, one of the statistics out there was that 41% of Americans would rather not talk about death, dying, politics, or religion. And then the pandemic hit. And I feel like we talk about all of those things, not to mention politically what we've been through over the past couple years. So it's nice to know that more and more women are talking about money. I see more resources pop up. And Maggie, hearing about your generation doing something different about these conversations is really inspiring. Before we get into kind of what your vision is or your dream is for this community and what actions our listeners can take, I want to take a quick break. I am here with Barbara Provost. She is a doctor in education, and I am also with her co-founder, Maggie Nielson. We'll be back in just a moment. Do you work hard, accomplish a lot, but still struggle to ask for what you're worth? Maybe you're good with numbers and finance, but find conversations about fees and salaries especially tricky. Or maybe you want to make peace with money, but despite your best efforts, you haven't been able to change your approach or build better habits that actually stick. Just something is standing in your way. If this is you, you can become a confident negotiator. I'm offering a masterclass in negotiation that will help you ask and get the compensation you deserve. You want to go to breakingmoneysilence.com/negotiating-masterclass and check out all the details. If you think you're a powerful woman who's ready to do some coaching with me in a group 101 and with an accountability partner, then definitely apply. And if you mention this podcast, I will give you 10% off the already reasonable fee for the course. I hope you will take advantage of this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you and getting to know you better and ultimately helping you become a confident negotiator. Today, we are focused on community money talk, and we are here with Dr. Barbara Provost and Maggie Nielson. They are the co-founders of an organization called Purse Strings that I recently learned about, and they were nice enough to come on the podcast and chat with me. So we have talked a little bit about money silence and your vision and what it's like to work with each other. I want to shift the conversation a bit, and I want to focus the rest of our time really on what your dream is for this community and how it can benefit the people who interact with Purse Strings. So let's start with the big picture. Like, what's the dream?
Barb?
The dream is, well, ultimately, the dream is that all women are living financially fearless. And that means that they've taken action for themselves. We say, women come first, you come first in this conversation. So often women will put themselves second, third, fourth, or fifth, but they really need to come first because, as we know, as they age, live longer, typically outlive their spouse. That's a time where health and welfare and oversight is very expensive. So we want to make sure all women are prepared for their financial future in their retirement, but that women live a financially fearless life. They understand their money. They know how it works. They know what they need for their best life goals. They know what they want in their life, and they're making moves and they're taking action so that they can live in a life that feels very confident and competent in what they're doing and how they're managing their money.
I love that. Financially fearless. That is a great term. And so give me an example of how, say, one of our listeners could go to your website and how they could benefit and start to build up this fearlessness.
So there's plenty of options all on our website. We have a ton of education for whatever women are looking for. And we have a podcast that we just started too, full of education, women and money, the shit we don't talk about. But when women are then looking for a professional, a money coach, an attorney, a divorce coach, we have all those professionals ready and willing and able to serve them. So just search up who you're looking for, interview a couple of people. They're all approved by us, but you always want to make sure you have that personal connection and really just get started because there's no better day than today. So, just call them up.
Well, and it sounds like there's a variety of resources there, and it's kind of a hub of activity. I just want to say that we're going to put some links in the show notes, and certainly I want to celebrate the launching of your podcast. Again, Maggie, tell me what the title is, because I love this.
Women and Money, the shit we don't talk about.
If I hadn't had Breaking Money Silence, I would have had that. So I love that mission and what's going on there. When it comes to breaking money silence, I want each of you to think about what is one piece of advice you would like to leave our listeners with, knowing that these are women professionals, whether they're career professionals, whether they own their own business, and also the financial advisors that serve them.
Mm-hmm. I would say I would want all women to know that their money is their power. And they can really speak volumes with the way that they use their power. And that means, stepping up and asking for that raise. That means having that conversation and asking all your questions so you understand everything you need to know about making an investment. And that means just taking control and knowing that women make 95% of the purchasing decisions in the household, and that women are an underserved market right now. So they're a very valuable market, and that women are coming into the largest transference of wealth in history. So they need to prepare themselves for the onslaught of money coming their way, and that they need to step into their power and know that they need to do business with those professionals who are going to treat them with respect and dignity that they deserve.
Well said. How about you, Maggie? What is one piece of advice you would have about breaking money silence for our listeners?
I would also jump on that money is power train, but kind of in a different direction of money is your power. So don't let anyone else control it, or don't give your money or power to anyone else and let that be in their hands. No one will have better interest than yourself in you. And even if you're running a business, money is your power. So be part of the conversation. You don't need to know every last detail, but you need to know what's going on in your company as well. And so money is your power. Don't hand it over to anyone else. Own it and use all that power for good.
And so I know you two are very action oriented, and I am too. I like talking about these concepts. I like having these conversations, but I always want someone to take the next step. What's the logical next step that you would want women to take?
I think it could be a different next step for every woman. But first of all, we need to make a very conscious decision to do something differently if we feel we're in that space that we need to. And that may look different for different women. It might be just, ripping off that Band-Aid and seeing what your debt is. It might be checking out what is your cash flow in your household? How much money is coming in? How much money is going out? It may be taking a look at your mortgage. Are you getting the best rate? It may be just saying, I'm going to go to Purse Strings and find a financial professional who I can really have a good old conversation with and ask a ton of questions, because they're there for women to ask their questions and really understand how their money can work for them. So it depends on where everybody is, but it's about getting started. There's no other day than today to get started.
What I love about that is it's so personalized, because what I find happens for people when they go to take action around improving their relationship with money is it gets overwhelming because the list goes on and on and on. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea of picking one small, doable thing. Something that I would actually add is in your comfort zone or not that far out of your comfort zone, because when it becomes to behavioral change, it's important to have success. Mm-hmm. It's important to take one small step, feel, oh, that worked out okay, and then take another. Anything to add to that, Maggie, before we find out about how we can connect with you and keep the conversation going?
Not really. I mean, we understand getting started is the hardest part, but, it's baby steps. We got so many people to cheer you on along the way, and we want to celebrate those successes with you. So let's just get started.
Let's get started. Awesome. So where can people find out more about both of you, your work, and of course, Purse Strings?
Yeah, so Purse Strings is on all social medias, Purse Strings CO. Our website is also pursestrings.co. And then anybody can stream our podcast on any of the streaming platforms. So come join us.
I would add that we're both on LinkedIn, and we're out there a lot, hanging out, looking for the right financial professionals who want to serve a female market. So anybody out in LinkedIn can go ahead and link in with us. We'd love to meet you.
Awesome. Well, I will put, again, all those links in the show notes. And I have so enjoyed our conversation today and breaking money silence with both of you. You're up to great things, and I look forward to seeing Purse Strings progress and move forward and accomplish that big dream.
Thank you so much, and thank you for helping us get the word out about Purse Strings.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
This episode is sponsored by Balance Wealth, an advisory firm that views you as more than a number. We know you deserve to partner with a team of professionals who care about you and your goals and empower you to make educated decisions about retirement. Your success is our success. And at Balanced Wealth, we will be with you every step of the way. To learn more, visit balancewealth.com.
Thank you for listening to Breaking Money Silence, hosted by Kathleen Burns Kingsbury, a wealth psychology expert, author, and founder of KBK Wealth Connection. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app and leave a review. Also, share this episode with your friends and family. It is a great way to get the conversation started. For more money talk tips and information, or to hire Kathleen to speak at your next event, go to www.breakingmoneysilence.com.